In recent years, wines at the cheaper end of the spectrum have taken to using wacky names and rather garish labels in order to create some shelf appeal. My wine of the week for this week falls into just that category. It's from Austria and it's coming right up. Hi guys, welcome to yet another edition of Big on Wine, the show which, as you probably know by now, brings you news and clues and reviews. Indeed, it tries to keep you up to speed with just about everything that's happening in the world of wine. And my wine of the week for this week is indeed from Austria, and it looks like this, and it goes under the name of the Butcher Cuvée White, and the vintage is 2018. And this wine comes in for a price where I am of just under €14 a bottle. Okay, it has a wacky name, The Butcher, and a rather, what shall I say, very impressive label as well. But is it any good? That's the key question, isn't it? Now, let's fill you in on the backstory of this wine. This wine is from Austria, in fact, from the easternmost part of Austria, and that is Burgenland, and it's actually officially Qualitätswein Burgenland here. It's produced by a company called Schwarz Wein and Company, and they're based in Andau. Now, Andau is a very, very small place in the so-called Seewinkel. Now, where the hell is the Seewinkel? Well, if you go 80 kilometers southeast of Vienna, or 60 kilometers or so south of Bratislava, you find yourself on the eastern side of Lake Neusiedl. In fact, you find yourself just 2.5 kilometers from the Hungarian border. That is where Andau is. Okay, so this is an interesting part of the world, Pannonia, where Slovakia and Austria and Hungary all meet. Right, now this wine is a cuvée or a blend, and it's a blend of 3 very, very typical Austrian varieties. In this wine, we have the Grüne Veltliner, which of course is the most widely planted grape in Austria. We have the Sauvignon Blanc, which is extremely good in Austria, exceptionally well it does down in the southern part of Austria in Steiermark, and the Welsh Riesling, which is a more kind of everyday variety. So Grüne Veltliner, Sauvignon Blanc, and Welsh Riesling in this wine. The Welsh Riesling, by the way, is no relation to the ordinary Riesling grape. 13% alcohol and 3 grams per litre of residual sugar in this wine, putting it, of course, in the dry category. All right, that's the backstory. Now let's turn to the wine itself. Let's take a look at the wine in the glass. And as we can see, it has a fairly standard pale straw gold colour. Nothing very unusual there then. Right, let's try it in the nose and see what this blend of 3 white varieties has to offer in terms of aromas. Here we go. Now in the nose, that is extremely pleasant. First impressions are of fruitiness, mixed fruitiness. In the area, I think, of sweeter or more exotic fruits. It smells almost sweet in the nose or honeyed in the nose. So I think if I have to put a name to those aromas, I'd be thinking in terms of honey melon and maybe also peach and apricot, perhaps a touch of ripe apple in the mix as well. But very, very appealing, fruity, ripe fruit there in the nose, slightly honeyed. All right, let's try it in the mouth now and see how we get on. Let's see how those aromas travel over into flavours. Now, for a relatively cheap wine, I would say that this is quite a nice balance of acid and fruit. I think the temperature is important here, this kind of a wine. Needs to be served around about the 8 or 9 degree mark, I think. In terms of flavours, it's a dry wine, 3 grams per litre of residual sugar, as we've said. It has a nice harmony of fruit to acid. Certainly the peach and apricot flavours come through. In the mouth, however, it's much more citrus fruit oriented. With some lemon and lime in the mix, but in the finish to the wine, I think it's turning more in the direction of grapefruit. And indeed, there's almost a slight pepperiness in the finish to this wine. All right, so far so good. Don't know where the name comes from, the Butcher, but anyway, it's certainly as a wine performing very nicely. What are we going to be enjoying this with? Well, I think this is a case for fish, probably of the pink flesh variety. So looking in terms of salmon or rainbow trout, I think. This is the kind of wine which has a nice balance of acid to fruit, will also go very nicely with other forms of white meat such as chicken, I think. Okay, so we've tested out the Butcher and it's actually passed the test with flying colours. Let's bring you the heads up on this wine. This is the Butcher Cuvée White 2018. This is a blend of 3 different varieties, 3 very typical Austrian varieties, the Grüne Veltliner, the Welschriesling and the Sauvignon Blanc. It's a well-made, uncomplicated blend, a provocative name and a label to match, but it's a blend of 3 varieties which the Austrians do especially well. Serve it around the 8 or 9 degree mark, as I say, light, fruity and crisp with a nice acidic grapefruity bite. This is a wine for everyday enjoyment and I'm going to give it 3 stars plus out of 5. Okay guys, many thanks for tuning in and checking out this week's video, and of course this was a little introduction to a rather unusually named wine from Austria's Burgenland, in fact from the Seewinkel, close to the Hungarian border. Rather strange name, but very nice wine. Okay, if you've enjoyed what you've seen and heard, then please do feel free to give us a big thumbs up. Yeah, drop us a like, we do enjoy receiving those. Put a comment down below if you feel like it, share the video around to your heart's content, follow me on my other social media platforms, and hey, because this is YouTube, I'm going to invite you to subscribe to the channel, and you can do that of course by hitting that big red button which will appear above my right shoulder. And while you're about it, why not hit the bell? Yeah, hit the bell icon and you'll be informed as soon as every new video is uploaded. And naturally, I'll be back again next week with another great wine of the week for you. But until we meet again, this is Tony Melville signing off and saying, hey, take care out there, be good to each other, enjoy your wines, and cheers.